Tonight, Fox 13 News continues an investigation into Utah's polluters by looking at big industry all along the Wasatch Front.
We're often told they are just a small slice of the pie. Fox 13's Max Roth looked at the numbers and spoke with the two biggest operations along the Wasatch Front.
Let me start with a disclaimer. My family is in Utah because my grandpa Dave worked for Kennecott. We talked with two big companies for this story, one a miner, one a refiner, each with long histories here. Of course, those histories have to be long because in modern times, you would not put refineries or a giant open pit mine in an inversion-plagued metropolis. We'll start with a recipe for Wasatch Front smog stew. It includes all our sources of pollution. Our recipe makes 10 cups. Start with 5.5 cups of tailpipe exhaust. That's 2.5 cups of diesels and clunkers, just under a cup from trains, planes, tractors, and cranes, and just over 2 cups from the rest of our cars. Bring that to a simmer and then add 3.2 cups of emission from our houses, churches, businesses, all the important little places in our lives. Then we have the ingredients that make Wasatch Front smog stew truly distinctive. 1.3 cups from big industrial polluters. Of course, you've been told those ingredients don't amount to much.
Only about 13 to 15% of our problems come from our refineries.
Some people have a misperception of the air quality. For instance, they think it all comes from refineries.
But you could look at it this way. Big sites called point sources contribute more pollutants than every single car, truck, train, crane, house, business, and other source in Weber County or Davis County. And another perspective, the big three pollutants creating particulates in the winter are nitrogen oxide, called NOx, volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and sulfur dioxide, SO2. Just Rio Tinto Kennecott and Utah's 5 oil refineries have contributed more than 75% of the SO2 on the Wasatch Front. You may have noticed the careful wording there. They have contributed. Our data is from 2017, and they say when new data from 2019 is released, we'll see improvement.
We've invested, significant amounts of money to reduce our own emissions.
Brad Schaefer speaks for Utah's oldest and largest refiner, once Tesoro, now Marathon Petroleum.
Where our refinery is located, there's been a refining operation there since 1908.
We've been on a journey for many decades to improve air quality.
Kyle Bennett works with Rio Tinto Kennecott.
We just had our 117th birthday, the Bingham Canyon mine.
Rio Tinto made a big change just last May.
We just closed down our coal-fired power plant, and that's going to reduce our carbon emissions by 65% annually.
And Rio Tinto is experimenting with super clean giant trucks while pursuing other clean options.
We're going to replace truck beds with lighter truck beds, which means that we can put more material in the truck and reduce the number of trips.
As of the beginning of the year, we are producing lower sulfur gasoline.
Marathon was first in Utah to commit to produce Tier 3 fuel. That makes every car in the region substantially cleaner. Some refineries have not made that change.
It could have made more sense on the bottom line of Marathon to upgrade the big refineries and let Salt Lake stay with Tier 2.
Yes.
Both companies provide good jobs.
We have about 300 jobs, permanent full-time employees at our refinery.
We have about 2,000 direct employees and roughly 9,300 indirect employees.
Still, thinking about our air, no one in 2020 would argue the Wasatch Front is a great spot for refineries or an open pit mine.
We knew then what we knew now. I can't make that decision for them, but if we Beijing today, we would not build it where we were, right?
Lacking a time machine, how do we deal with what we have? Some things are clear. Even good corporate citizens do not make billion-dollar changes without a push.
The EPA gives refiners several different options to comply with that.
We're a highly regulated business.
And these industries do what they do with public permission. Your opinion matters.
At some point, does it just not make sense to have a big mine in a big city?
Well, I think that what we have is a unique opportunity when you have a major operation like ours that borders a major metropolitan area. What it requires is collaboration and partnership, and so that's something that we've been doing for decades.
We'll watch for updated information and keep you informed. An important note here, we can all make a difference with our money. That Tier 3 gas from Marathon goes to Speedway, Shell, and Exxon stations. Sinclair and Chevron also produce Tier 3 fuel. If you make a point of buying it, your car becomes far cleaner, and just as importantly, you send a message to refiners who have been slow to make that change. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.